So we were talking about the spinal cord. Spinal cord, I was telling you, it is just below the brain, and the last part of brain which connects brain to the spinal cord, that is medulla. Okay, medulla oblongata, right? Then the next point which was told here is, you know, opposite to the brain, the inner part is gray matter here and outer part is white matter. I'm showing you one picture where you can actually understand this thing. Okay, see here, if you see, this is brain. You can see the gray matter outside, okay, and white matter inside. This is how it looks, okay. And when we see spinal cord section, so it is just opposite. White matter is outside and gray matter is inside. Okay, so this is one of the important difference. Okay, what is the, you can take a screenshot of this if you want.
Yes, ma'am, done.
Okay, so after that, what is the function of the spinal cord is given in your book. So what are the functions of the spinal cord? There are three functions given here. First is to control the reflex below the neck. Okay, बहुत सारे reflex actions होते हैं. Reflex actions means which are very sudden. Okay, such reflexes are controlled by spinal cord. Then it also conduct messages from skin and muscle to the brain. Okay, so mostly it goes till the spinal cord and it goes to the brain if it requires. And sometimes if the time is not there and if it is not necessary, it comes directly from the spinal cord back. You know, it goes to the motor brain, motor neurons. So it doesn't go to brain sometimes, but such reflexes are there, okay, which is controlled only by the spinal cord. Then it also obviously gives the message from skin and muscles to the brain, and it conducts commands from the brain to muscles of the trunk and limbs. Okay, so these are the three functions. So now what are the different parts of the brain? ठीक है, आपको स्पाइनल कॉर्ड में ज्यादा नहीं पढ़ना है. So different parts of the brain हमने देखा, cerebrum, cerebellum and medulla oblongata, right? These are
Yes,
different parts of the brain. Did we go in details, right? We went in details, right? So these are the short summary of it, and this is the short summary of spinal cord. Now let's go to the peripheral. Now we were seeing before we were seeing what? Central nervous system. Central nervous system have two parts, brain and spinal cord. So we went both into details of brain and spinal cord. Not into very details, but whatever is up to your standard. Okay, so brain and spinal cord. Then coming to the peripheral nervous system. Peripheral nervous system includes what? Everything apart from brain and spinal cord. Okay, it consists of nerves which connects the cranial nervous system, sorry, central nervous system to all parts of the body. Like हमारा brain और हमारा spinal cord सारे body parts से connected होना चाहिए, right? So वो connection, how can we see that connection? How we have that connection? That connection is through a network of nerves, you know, network of nerves. So that is peripheral nervous system. Okay, understood this point? Okay, so peripheral nervous system will include all the nerves which connects central nervous system to all the body parts. So peripheral nervous system can be divided into two types. We discussed it. What is that? Somatic nervous system and autonomous nervous system. Okay. Now, first we'll see one by one. Somatic nervous system. Okay. Somatic nervous system में दो तरह के nerves होंगे. Okay. What are the two types of nerves which will be present in somatic nervous system? Cranial nerves and spinal nerves. Okay. Cranial nerves are what? Cranial जब बोला जा रहा है मतलब brain. ठीक है. When we are talking about cranial, that means brain. Okay. So this cranial means brain. So it arises from brain. So there are how many cranial nerves? There are 12 pair of cranial nerves. Okay, जिसमें से कुछ examples आपको दिए जैसे olfactory nerve, optic nerve, auditory nerve. ठीक है, ये जो 12 pair of nerves है cranial nerves, इनकी proper numbering होती है. जैसे आप class 11th में जब हम पढ़ेंगे, there you will see कि okay, cranial nerve which like second cranial nerve, fifth cranial nerve, seventh cranial nerve. So they are numbered, particular number they have got. Okay. So sensory, olfactory means olfaction. ये olfactory जहाँ भी term आएगा, that means related to smell. Okay, related to smell. So it is for nose. It takes care of nose area. Then there is optic. Optic तो आपको पता ही, opticians वगैरह. Optic means related to eyes. Okay. Auditory, audition, audible, auditory, that is what? Ears. So these are the names of three of the cranial nerves. Okay. Then these are what? मतलब cranial nerves में भी बहुत सारे आते हैं. ठीक है. Sensory, these are sensory nerves. Then there are motor nerves. There are mixed nerves. ठीक है. So motor nerves are like one which are going to the eye muscles and जहाँ पे muscles का ज्यादा काम होता है. And mixed nerves means which act both as sensory and as well as motor. Right? Sensory matlab which brings the information from the sense organs to the brain. Motor means which takes the information or the reflexes or the respond from the brain to the respective organs. Okay. So few nerves are of mixed type. They do both the function. Okay. जैसे nerve coming from the face and tongue, they take both the things. They take the senses and they have the motor nerve also to do whatever is required. Okay. So they are mixed nerves. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay. Who has given this book?
ma'am. I.
You gave, right? So you could have taken it more. The margins are very like.
Yes, ma'am.
Like that. I'm not able. मतलब ठीक है, समझ में आ रहा है. But next time when you give, try to take the complete.
Ma'am, then if you have problem, shall I read? Ma'am, from next time I'll do properly, ma'am. For
Yeah,
now.
you can read it.
Spinal nerves. There are 31 pair of spinal nerves which arise from the spinal cord. A typical spinal nerve is a mixed nerve. Each pair of nerves consists of a sensory nerve that carries messages from sensory organs such as skin to the brain or spinal cord. In reverse, there is a motor nerve that brings order from the brain or spinal cord to effector organs such as glands and muscles. It involves both voluntary and involuntary activity.
Okay. So you understood? Like cranial nerves थे, उनमें 3 different types of nerves थे. Sensory nerves भी थे, motor nerves भी थे और mixed nerves भी थे, right? Spinal nerves जो है, they are 31 pairs. Okay. ये जो 31 pair of spinal nerves है, they are all mixed types. Okay. They do both sensory function as well as motor function. Understood? So uh, they are and it involves both voluntary and involuntary activity. So all those things are there. So this is important. Cranial nerves, which are arising from the brain, spinal nerves, which are arising from the spinal cord. Cranial nerves are 12 pairs, spinal nerves are 31 pairs. Cranial nerves are of three types: sensory, motor, and mixed. And spinal nerves are of all mixed types. Understood? Now coming to the autonomic nervous system. So we saw the first, that is somatic nervous system, which consists of these two nerves. Now we are seeing autonomic nervous system. So what is autonomic nervous system? It consists of a pair of chain of nerves and ganglia. Now what is ganglia? Nerves to पढ़ लिया. What is ganglia? Ganglia is basically mass of cyton. जैसे cyton क्या है? What is cyton? That is cell body. ओके सो न्यूरॉन्स का जो सेल बॉडी एक साथ एक जगह पे बहुत इकट्ठा हो जाए अगर, ठीक है, और उनके जो डेंड्राइट्स एक्सॉन्स बहुत दूर तक जा रहे हैं, बट उसका जो साइटोन, द सेल बॉडी पार्ट इज टुगेदर मेनी मेनी नर्व्स का. सो उस पर्टिकुलर एरियाज को, पोर्शंस को हम क्या बोलते हैं? गैंग्लिया. ठीक है, ऐसे गैंग्लिया आपको कहाँ पे देखने को मिलते हैं? दे आर यूजुअली प्रेजेंट on either side of the backbone. Okay, they are usually present on the either side of the backbone. Okay, so those are ganglia. And then the system controls the involuntary activities of the internal organs. ठीक है, so autonomic मतलब ही है what? It will be involuntary. ठीक है, that's why it's autonomic. हाँ, यहाँ क्रेन ये जो था somatic, it will include most of the voluntary functions. Okay, spinal cord जो है, spinal nerves जो है, they may involve involuntary activities as well as voluntary, but mostly voluntary activities are taken care by somatic nervous system, and you know, involuntary activities are taken care by autonomic nervous system, especially autonomic nervous involuntary activities of most of internal organs. So it operates through two systems. Okay, so your autonomic nervous system will have two types. What are those? Sympathetic and parasympathetic system. Sympathetic and parasympathetic system. Okay, which are obviously opposite to each other. Sympathetic and parasympathetic means antagonistic. Matlab, for example, one system increases the you know, speed of action, and one relaxes it. For example, when you're afraid, the sympathetic nervous system dilates the pupil of the eye. Okay, constricts the vessel of the skin and accelerates the heart rate. अचानक से आपको डर लगता है जब, तो क्या होता है? आपका हार्ट बीट बढ़ जाता है, राइट? And parasympathetic nervous system will be doing just opposite of it. मतलब जब आप थोड़ी देर के बाद आपको लगता है नो, इट्स ऑल नॉर्मल, कुछ डरने का जरूरत नहीं है, someone comes and you know, pats you, so what happens then you feel normal. Automatically the heartbeat goes to the normal rate, and you know, your skin you know, becomes normal. जो you know, like जो डर वाला, all those symptoms, you know, eyes, so everything relaxes you know, automatically. So these two systems work together, sympathetic and parasympathetic, you know, one after another. जैसे अगर आप का हार्ट बीट बढ़ गया है वॉट एवर रीजन, सो वो अभी थोड़ी देर में कम हो जाएगा, जैसे जो कि नॉर्मल चीजें होती है, जैसे डर की वजह से या एक्सरसाइज की वजह से या फिर एनीथिंग. So sympathetic nervous system takes care of, you know, increasing the heart rate. कि अभी heart rate को increase करना, that information has to give, so that comes under sympathetic. And when you get relaxed, when you're not afraid, you know, then what happens? When the body comes normal, then again all the activities of such internal organs should come to the normal stage. So unko decrease or relax karne ke liye we have parasympathetic system. I hope that is clear.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, that means if when we get frightened, ma'am, if we ever notice, we will see that the size of our pupil gets bigger.
It happens. कभी देखा नहीं, डर वाला लुक देखा है, आंखें बड़ी हो जाती हैं ऐसे कि क्या हो गया अचानक से, एंड देन योर हेयर्स विल स्टैंड on the skin, or you'll feel something, heart palpitations will start.
Yes, ma'am.
So those things occur. So वो सब किसके अंडर होता है, वो सिंपैथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टम का पार्ट होता है, ठीक है. और पैरासिम्पैथेटिक क्या करेगा, उसको जब आपका नॉर्मल सिचुएशन हो जाएगा तो उन्हीं सारे ये सब इंटरनल ऑर्गन्स का एक्ट होता है, राइट. हार्ट पाल्पिटेशन आप अपने मन से तो कर नहीं पाते हो इंक्रीज. हाउ इट इज इंक्रीजिंग, इट इज इंक्रीजिंग under this particular system. Then again it will go back to the normal by parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, so that's why they both are antagonistic. Antagonistic means just opposite to each other, doing just opposite work. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now the nervous system acts in two ways, the actions or responses being voluntary and involuntary, right? So voluntary actions are what, which you are doing as per your own will. Okay, involuntary actions are what, which are not happening as per your will, they are going automatically, like certain reflexes. Okay, unknowingly certain reflexes are occurring, you know, like coming, flushing of tears, sweating, or many heartbeat increase hona, many things which are not are in your control. Okay, like स्पेशली ये जो टीयर्स, नॉट लाइक नॉर्मल टीयर्स जो बच्चे जिद करते हैं वो वाला टीयर्स, बट स्पेशली जैसे आंख में कुछ पड़ जाए, या समटाइम्स बहुत ज्यादा चिल होता है, या जो भी ऐसे प्याज आप कट कर रहे हो, तो ऐसी बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जिसकी वजह से ऑटोमेटिकली टीयर्स आते हैं आपकी आईज में. सो दे आर व्हाट, दे आर ऑल इनवॉलेंटरी एक्शंस. ओके, देन रिफ्लेक्स एक्शन, दिस इज अनदर टॉपिक. रिफ्लेक्स एक्शन क्या होता है, कुछ ऐसे चीजें होती हैं जो सडन रिफ्लेक्स होता है, लाइक द पेरिफेरल नर्वस सिस्टम एंड स्पाइनल कॉर्ड, ये दोनों साथ में काम करते हैं. ओके, दे बोथ कंट्रोल सर्टेन एक्शंस वेयर ब्रेन इज नॉट इन्वॉल्व. ये इंपॉर्टेंट लाइन है, ठीक है. रिफ्लेक्स एक्शंस में ब्रेन इन्वॉल्व नहीं होता क्योंकि ये बहुत सडन रेस्पॉन्स होता है जिसके लिए इंफॉर्मेशन ब्रेन तक जाए और फिर आए एनालिसिस करने के बाद, दैट इज too much of time taking. Okay, so in such actions directly spinal cord gives back the command, okay, you do this. So such actions are reflex actions. So what are involved, peripheral nervous system and spinal cord. Example, what is the example given? If you touch a hot object, okay, or you are you get pricked by any pointed object, okay, anything thorn or any glass pieces, anything. So what happens, you instantly remove your hands, right, without thinking what it is. Means you don't analyze it, you just remove first and then you see what is this. So that thing is what, that is a reflex action. Okay, because you don't think about the thinking what it is, should I remove it, should I keep it, that time is not there. Okay, so that is a reflex action, and that is taken care by especially spinal cord and peripheral nervous system. Is that clear?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Okay, so reflex actions are usually quick, immediate, and automatic response to stimulus without the involvement of brain. The shortest pathway of the nerve impulse from a receptor to effector, which makes a reflex action, is called reflex arc. Like how the information is going. जैसे आपने hot object को touch किया यहाँ पे, वो hot object यहाँ से क्या होगा, sensory neuron जो है आपका, that will be taken by sensory neuron to what this is the structure of spinal cord. It when goes to the spinal cord, okay, then there it gets connected to the interneuron, जो भी association neuron या interneurons, usually interneurons spinal cords में होते हैं, ठीक है. So interneurons, and then it messages the motor neuron to pull back the hand, right? So that motor neuron will take the message to the muscles of the hand to contract, okay, and the hand will be just, you will just remove the hand. So this particular movement of information, okay, is called reflex arc. Okay, it is like a reflex arc, it's an arc which is just due to a reflex action. Understood? So this is the series of the things which occur one by one. Okay, you can read, one person can read these points, it will be a kind of revision. Sakshi can read.
Stimulus received by the sensory receptors in fingers. Impulse is generated and carried along by sensory neurons towards the spinal cord. Impulse travels through spinal nerves towards the spinal cord. Impulse arrives at the nerve endings of sensory neurons. The impulse passes across the relay neuron or interneuron present between a sensory and motor neuron to the motor neuron. Impulse travels along the motor neuron away the spinal cord. The nerve ending of motor neuron connect effector organ or muscle. Response is produced by effector organ or muscle.
Okay,
Completed.
yeah. So understood one by one how it is happening? Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Who all are there? Karthik, any doubt? Are you there, Karthik? Are you listening to the class?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, due to network problem, I can't hear you clearly.
Oh, but
Okay, ma'am.
whenever you are facing any problem, you can tell me, okay?
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, now it is clear. Now it is clear.
Okay. So after that, there are a few examples of reflexes. Okay, there are basically two type of reflexes. One type is natural reflex, that means inborn, which is from the birth. And another type of reflex is acquired reflex, which is conditioned. Okay, so natural reflexes and conditioned reflexes. Okay, natural is inborn and conditioned is acquired. Example, if we see natural reflex, you can see blinking and watering of eyes, coughing, sneezing, vomiting. So these are what? These are natural reflexes. Okay, you are seeing something very tasty, or if you're very hungry, automatically you will have, salivation, you know, watering of mouth, जिसको हम बोलते हैं. So all those things are natural reflex. Swallowing, how you eat. So it goes, peristalsis movement is there in the esophagus, how, the food particle moves inside and reaches to the stomach. Okay, so these are what? These are natural reflexes. Okay, what are conditioned reflex? So this is one which is which develops during the lifetime due to experience or learning. Okay, example, uh, watering of mouth at the sight of something very tasty. Okay, just a normally salivation if you're hungry, that is conditioned. Sorry, that is natural. But if your salivation is occurring due to a particular type of food, because you have tasted it before and you know that it is very tasty, and that's why you are having salivation, that is conditioned. Okay, so another type is typing on the keyboard of a computer. Sometimes, people who are very accustomed, they'll just type without even thinking. no brain applied, and they can do it. Playing some musical instrument without even thinking about it. So all those things will be conditioned reflex. Okay, where brain is not involved. Getting my point?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then some basic terms in the functioning of nervous system. Okay. So these terms you should know. Like these terms are used whenever we are studying in our system. Okay, like stimulus. Stimulus means what? Any change in the environment that usually results in change in the activity of body. Okay, that is stimulus. Means anything, temperature change or sound change or anything which is affecting your body, which results in the change in the activity of your body. That is stimulus. What is response? Response is the activity of the body due to that stimulus. जैसे आपका टेम्परेचर बाहर बढ़ा तो आपको स्वेटिंग आना शुरू हो गया, तो टेम्परेचर का बढ़ना इज अ स्टिमुलस एंड स्वेटिंग होना इज अ रेस्पॉन्स टू दैट स्टिमुलस. Okay, then impulse. What is impulse? It is a wave of electrical disturbance that runs through the nerves. Okay, which I told you, the information which is going, or the actually it is a electrical disturbance, electrical potential or electrical disturbance which moves through the nerves. हम क्लास 11th में पढ़ेंगे तो हमको बहुत क्लियरली समझ में आएगा कि हो क्या रहा है. What is this information? कोई ऐसा तो नहीं है कि कोई बोल रहा है, it is in words. No, that is a potential, that is just kind of playing with the concentration of certain ions. Okay, so वो certain ions का movement जो होता है एक potential generate करता है which moves throughout, or that is kind of electrical. Okay, because it is based on certain charges, some charged ions move. Okay, so that's why we call it electrical disturbance. Impulse is a wave of electrical disturbance which runs through the nerves. What are receptors? Receptors means these are the sense organs which are receiving the stimulus. Okay, and effector means these are the muscles or glands which are receiving the response of the brain to act.
Ma'am, can you repeat stimulus?
Stimulus means any change in the environment, जैसे कि गर्मी होना, ठंडी होना, हवा चलना, या फिर कुछ भी, कोई साउंड सुनना, कोई वाइब्रेशन फील करना, कुछ भी, whatever is happening around you can be a stimulus which is bringing any change in your body, any change, either in the form of activity, voluntary or involuntary. Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
so these are those terms. Now, the above terms can be understood by taking an example of sudden removal of hands on touching a hot object. So here, heat is the stimulus. The nerve cells in the skin which are receiving the stimulus, they will be known as receptors. Okay, the sensation of heat, okay, will travel through the nerves and it will travel as a impulse. Okay, and the muscle of the hand which is receiving the command from the brain, those will be known as the effector. Okay, and the contraction of the muscle for removing or withdrawing your hands, that will be the response by the effectors. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
So if this is clear, then we are done with this chapter today. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
so here are few questions given, multiple choice questions and short questions and long questions. Okay, so please go through all the questions. Okay, is there any doubt from the chapter?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so you write the homework. You should solve the multiple choice question and short answer questions.
Okay, ma'am.
Multiple choice question and short answer questions. You should solve it and send me as your homework. So we will end the class here today. मैं आप लोग को जल्दी छोड़ रही हूँ because I don't want to start another chapter today because I don't know why other Siddharth is not here and one more student Tanishta I think she left. Siddharth should have come. Okay. Anyways, so please do the homework and submit it by tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. You have half an hour. You solve the questions. Okay. Write the answers. Chalo, I'll end the class here. See you all
Ma'am.
next class.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Bye bye.